low, we do it big. Do it like we doing it.
Pastor Tony Smith and Victorious Ministries give voice to a man's heart. This is Real Talk from real men, discussing life's concerns from a godly man's point of view. Buckle up for 30 minutes of discussion where we'll highlight current events
Every day I'm waking up, I know the reason why.
and even push the envelope now and then.
Cross my heart, you can stick
This
a needle in my eye.
is Man Up.
Is victorious with God on my side.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Man Up. On behalf of Pastor Tony Smith and Victorious Ministries, the host of Man Up would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude and appreciation for your continuous support of our show. We pray that tonight's broadcast will bless you in various areas of your life. Please stay tuned for more Man Up.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Man Up. I'm Deaconess Janelle Boston, and we are having a great show today. We're talking about generations and how your generation can affect the next. And so what better way to talk about generations than to have an up-and-coming generation here on the stage. We have some young men here from Victorious Ministries International. Why don't you give yourselves a hand? So glad that you are here. Oh, Kelly. All right, so I have a feeling that I'm not going to be saying much on this particular show. I'm just going to kind of let y'all go for it. But let me throw it out here. You know, this is a generation. Kelly, you looking at me so funny. This is a generation, and you know, this is y'all in a few years. No, seriously. Yeah, this is. I mean, these young men.
We all don't wear skinny pants. We all do not wear skinny jeans.
Say all them little skinny pants gonna leave.
We don't do that. All of us don't wear skinny jeans. We wear nice fitting jeans that supposed to fit a grown man.
All right, so.
Some of y'all still trying to get into skinny pants. No, sir.
He need a mic.
What? Okay, all right, so, all right, it's already started. So let me just throw it out here, and I'm going to back out so I don't get burned by the fire. So y'all, this is y'all in a few, okay? Y'all in your 20s, late 20s, early 30s, and, you know, we know what age. Yeah, y'all look good for your age, okay? But, you know, this is, y'all are the next generation. What do y'all think about this generation here that y'all are in? Do you realize how important this stage, the generation that you have right now, and the effect that you will have or that you are having on the next generation?
Me personally, I think some of it is a positive, but with all positive, there's always a negative.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, some of the kids don't want to look up to us and listen to us. I mean, they look up to the people that they see on TV all the time. So, which is understand, and some of the people that they look up to aren't always the right people to look up to.
Mm-hmm.
So, that to me, that's one thing that they always, a lot of problems have.
We ain't do that with TV. Captain Chesapeake, we ain't look up to him. Nah. He was talking to somebody we never didn't see, a bird. What was it, a bird or something?
Well, times have changed a little bit since, you know, you guys came along. Now, everything is on TV. You got music videos, and then you got social media playing into everything. So I think the biggest challenge for people like my age and these guys here is we're fighting with rappers to influence the next generation coming up. We're fighting with athletes. Like, that's the people that they look up to. They want to be like the Lil Waynes and the guys on TV with the jewelry, the tattoos. That's what they want, and that's what's put in front of them all the time. So when they see, if you compare me to young Jeezy, a young guy growing up, will probably say it's a lot easier for me to be a rapper than it is for me to go to college, graduate with a degree, and then get a full-time job. Because they think that rap lifestyle is that easy. They think that all the jewelry is real. They think the cars are not rented, and a lot of times the cars are rented, the jewelry is rented, and all the cash that they flash is theirs, but it's really not. But it's hard to tell them that when that's all they see.
I agree with you, Matt, but I think that y'all have the tools because you're a man now you have grown into a man. You have a career. You graduated from college. You have a kid. So you know the importance of doing what they need to do. So, yeah, you can say, sure, you see this guy on TV, but it's like you will never meet him. So you don't really know if these things are real. But I'm real flesh that you see. that get up and go to work every day, that go to church and I praise. You know, it's like my son. He knows some of the stuff that I come from. You know, but I taught him and try to train him up in a way that he wouldn't do the things that I come from. So it's like he's so much like me, it's crazy, and now he see it. You know, we talking and he like, I just said that to Elijah the other day. So you have the tools, it's what you instilled in him. You know what I mean? And how you do it. It's like we're more aggressive. We old heads, we more aggressive. So y'all got to come up with your own style and how to get it across and how to make them receive what it is.
I think, for example, like this is a tough generation. The reason why I say that is a tough generation is because so much is going on. As far as in our society and the African American community, a lot of young black boys are actually dying on the streets. A lot of people are getting shot. A lot of people are getting killed. And it's a game changer because, of course, history repeats itself. But back in that day when this happened before, they had people like Malcolm X. They had people like Jim Brown. They had people like Cassius Clay, people like Sam Cooke, who actually stood up and actually fought against what's going on and actually had some sort of ambition, had some sort of drive to make a difference. And I don't see that in this generation. And I really don't, and to be quite honest, I don't really see it in your generation either. And I feel like it is skipped. And I feel like we are on a downslope as an African American community, especially the males in the African American community. We're not doing anything different to impact change in our communities and our societies. And I feel like, you know, it's about time that we stand up and do something to make that difference. We need to be the next Jim Brown. We need to be the next Cassius Clay. We need to be the next Martin Luther King Jr. because this stuff is prevalent and it's happening, and no one's doing anything but sitting back and watching.
I think that the point that you were making has some validity to it. I think where the difference in it is, the reason that those people became a name is because no one else was doing it. And when you're the only person that's doing it, you become known because nobody else is. But I think that we don't have that lack of people in our generation. I think that what we have is a lack of fathers being consistent in children's lives. And I think that we have too many people who have sidebar conversations with people it don't matter with versus having it with the people that it does. So we have absentee fatherism in the home, and then we have men who see what's going on but don't say anything. They don't get engaged. They don't have any rapport with the people that is going on with, because we're in a day and time where if we see something, we'll say something. You know what I mean? If we could be riding down the street, and if we see a dude put his hands on a girl, we'll pull a car over, because that's not acceptable to us. But I think in the generation now that's happening, y'all ride by and just be like, man, that's messed up. Or, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, keep going. You know what I'm saying? Where we could see some dude standing on the corner and we'll say something to him. Hey, fellas, what's going on, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Because, you know, this isn't a good look. Where everybody else is kind of just like, well, I mean, that's their choice. And it's almost like just left a choice now. If that's what you choose, then that's what you can do, versus having someone to challenge what you're doing. Because most cases, it's really about challenging. If no one ever challenges it, then you don't see that there's another option.
I agree. And like one of the things that I see is like all of y'all on that side, or most of you on that side, is old enough to be our fathers. Most of y'all. So you brought up a good point about having absentee fathers in the household. What about your generation brought along the absentee father that left us without that father? I know my brothers up here, I think about 2 of us had fathers in our household, but the 3 of us, out of 5 of us, 3 did not. Well, so what in that generation that you said is so real, and that generation is so profound, that generation has it going on, that left us fatherless?
I think it goes to, again, we go back to kind of like choice, because my father, I knew who my father was, and we had a relationship, but he wasn't in my house, and there was great distance in our interaction. So what happened with me is the man that I am today, my father taught me how to be him by what he didn't do and what he didn't show me and what he didn't teach me. So I wanted to make sure that I never repeated that for my children to experience that. And as a result of that, I became super dad. And I became father to people who didn't have a father, because I didn't want them to feel what I felt growing up. So I was everybody's father. I think my name was in bathrooms or something. If you don't have a father, he'll be one. And so it was that kind of thing, because I didn't want people to repeat that cycle of not having that consistency around. So in doing that, you become engaged in trying to help people, lead people, show people how things can be and should be. So I don't think that all absenteeism has to come out with a negative result, because it's all in how you see it. It can either be half full or half empty.
You had to also research and find out why was your father in your life. You got to see what his background was. See, as young men, y'all quick to judge, but you don't know what he went through and why he left y'all where he left y'all. You understand what I'm saying? But once you go start researching, like, or talk to your mother or whatever, and find out what was the issue, it could be an issue between them. But see, most mothers ain't gonna tell that part.
I'm sorry, Deacon Coach, but there's never a reason why a father should leave their child.
Yeah, well,
even if their background or their history, I don't feel like there is a reason.
Well, I will say, when you said there's never a reason why a father should leave his child. To a point and to a degree, that is true. But also, you have the woman who women sometimes can do and or say certain things where the father really wants to be in his child's life. So when the father is trying to be in his child's life, and the mother may fill your head up at home with all of this stuff, which only thing you got to look to is your mom at that time, and you begin to believe it. Once you're around your mom who's showing you this and showing you that so much, that then what happens is, with the day that you get an opportunity to meet your father, the only person that you know is the person that she told you about. So now already you're not open to receive that person, because all you have is a built-up story of what they have created, when your father may take the time to want to say, hey, listen, this is what happened, but you're not even opening the door to believe them because of what they filled you with already. So those certain kind of things happen as well.
Go ahead, Kelly.
That's pretty good, because I'm actually in a situation like that now. Like with my dad, my dad was around. I wasn't the type of kid who grew up without a mother or a father. My father wasn't in my life by choice, because he was kind of like forced out. So when I got a chance, like when I got older, whatever the case may be, my father, came back in my life. He has a choice to be there. Now, with me, I don't try to force a relationship with my father, because I'm grown. And if he wants to have that relationship, then he has to reach out and say, listen, this is what I want to do. I want to have this relationship. I don't force a relationship on him, because he's at the age where I'm at the age where I feel as though everything, I'm not saying that I'm not teachable, but everything that you didn't teach, I kind of learned on my own, and not because of my mom and, her teaching, trying her best to teach me how to be a man, but I learned from the mistakes that he didn't do. You know what I'm saying? Like how to take care of myself, how to be a man, and then, there were examples in my life, that came along later to show me the things that I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? So.
All right, we're going to continue our discussion with the young men. We're talking about generations and how your generation can affect the next. Tune in right now to find out what you can do to become a part of Victorious Ministries.
Looking for a camp for your undiscovered star? Well, look no further, because Camp Judah the Arts Camp is the place to be. It's 8 full weeks of acting, dancing, and summer fun for all kids between the ages of 4 and 14. And at the end of the summer, we showcase all of our talents in an unforgettable closing program you won't want to miss. So don't wait. Register your child today. Call 410-433-8066 for more information. Camp Judah, where stars are born.
We're back. We're talking about how your generation is affected, and we are joined by the young men here on Man Up. So I'm going to let you guys continue. We were talking about fatherhood. Go ahead, David.
I just wanted to hit Kelly. As far as growing up without a father. See, I'm not too far from y'all age. I'm 34. Y'all probably up in y'all high 20s or whatever. But I was raised by older cats. So that's just just like these guys around me, that's why I'm right here, because you get a lot of knowledge and wisdom from your elders, you feel what I'm saying? But I feel like your generation now too is like a little too emotional, kind of, because just because your father not there, that don't mean nothing. Because I don't think that you should be like, my father, he want a relationship with me, he should have to come and see me. That's your father. If once you get older and you know you can go and maybe have a relationship with him too. You feel what I'm saying? Not just I'm waiting for him, Nah. You feel what I'm saying? That's your dad. Go reverence your father. That's still your father. If you knew that your story was because of whatever your mother did or bit bop that kept y'all away, you feel what I'm saying? You can go and do that too. Like, you want to know, like, why you act like this, where you get this from, all that. I know I did. I used to go to my mother like, "Ma, why I be like this? Why I be like that?" So you feel what I'm saying? My father, he lived in a whole nother state. I'm from Chicago, you know what I'm saying? But I moved to Baltimore. But I always went to go see him because I wanted to go see him. I didn't never get mad at him because he wasn't with me or he didn't live with me or none of that. That was bogus to me, man. To me, that's a woman trait. I ain't feel no type way about that. I want to see my dad, I'll go holler at him, see what's up with him. Even as I'm older, I still want to go holler at him. I'm never going to be like, man, he got to come holler at me or nothing. And I don't blame him for nothing he didn't do, because if it's in you to be a man. You're going to learn however you feel fit to learn to be a man if that's what you want to be. You feel what I'm saying? Only thing somebody could teach you is how to be a better father, but it's in you.
All right, go ahead, Calvin.
Gotcha. So I think you pretty much took what I said wrong, because I never said that I had an issue with my father. I never said that I was mad at my father. What I said was, I was reiterating from what Minister Rock said. What I was saying was that you don't know the situation when your father's not there. I said my father was forced out of my life. I never said I was upset with my father. I don't have an issue with my father. If my father wants to have a relationship with me, I'm open to that. I actually talk to my father. No, we don't talk every day, but when we do get a chance to talk, I talk to my father. I'm not mad at my father. So I never said that. I never said that I was upset.
I was saying when you said if he want a relationship with you, he can come to you.
Right, I said I don't want to force a relationship.
You said you're not going to go and initiate a relationship with him. You said if he want a relationship, he'll come to me.
I'm not, and I stand on
father.
that, because, like I said, I'm not forcing a relationship with you, because if you want to have a relationship with me, we live in the same city. We live here. You got my number just like I got your number. But I'm not gonna reach out.
You just said it.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you want to have a relationship, you can have a relationship, but I'm not going to force you to have a relationship. I don't feel like I need to.
But so is it just on his part or your part?
No, it's not. It's not on his part. What I'm saying is, I'm open to a relationship, but I'm not going to force you to have one if you don't want one, because I feel as though if you want to have a relationship, then you'll reach out.
But what about you? Don't really have a relationship with him? So why you don't reach out?
I do have a relationship with my father. I do. If I want to reach out to my father, I want to talk to my father, I'll talk to my father. If I feel as though I don't have nothing to talk to you about, then what am I going to talk to you about for? So I feel as though, wait a minute, let me finish. I feel as though at this point, we really don't have nothing in common, because you really don't know me. If you wanted to know me, then you would reach out.
So I look at it. I got your whole thing you saying, but I look at it a little bit different. If that's your feeling, then for me, I look at closure, and I look at filling a void. That's what I look at. So my father, I believe, left me when I was 5. I didn't know nothing about 5 years old. I don't remember that age. You know what I mean? But when I finally found out where my father died, but the roots of where my father came from was Cherry Hill. I need to know that. You know what I mean? So when I found that out from a young lady, she gave me a picture. That's the only picture that I had of my dad. I went to Cherry Hill to the address she sent me to, because I need to bring closure. Then I sat down, because first I wanted to see if was there any money left in the Social Security account for me. You know what I'm saying? Seriously, when I grew up, your father died, you supposed to have money in an account. I wanted to know that, because that's all I knew. So I went down there, they said all the money was spent. That's understandable. All right. So I talked to the lady, and then she began to tell me all the things about my father, where now it taught me now where I get some of my characteristics from. So even for me, I can't bring that relationship back with my father because he passed. But just in encouragement, for anybody that's out there, that if your father is there and you're looking for some kind of closure or whatever it is, it's all right to just say, you could pick the phone up and say, hello, what's going on? Because even now, I really respect this relationship that the father does with my wife. He consistently contacts her 6 o'clock in the morning every morning, only due to the fact that he was out of their life. So he's reaching out, but at the same time, she's very receptive in communicating back. And just when that day comes that you don't happen to have them anymore, I mean, you could be strong as a gun and say, you know what, well, they wasn't in my life at all, so I don't know who they was, and they just died, But if they happen to be there, why not get to know them? Why not because that can fill, some of the generational things that we could be going through.
Honestly, I got to agree with Kelly. For me, I don't see the purpose in trying to initiate a relationship. I'm here. You got my number. If you want to call, and the thing is, I've received those calls to start, and then I say, okay, well, let's do this, and then there's no follow through. And for me though, I was never upset. Like my sisters, I have 2 older sisters. They was more sort of ones mad, upset. For me, I was just like, I mean, whatever. I can't force him to do what he don't want to do. As a man, nobody can force you to do something you don't want to do. So for me, I made it. You know, I'm successful. I feel like I've reached a point in my life where I've had people in my life, even like Pastor Marcus, people that have been there for me to kind of fill the void, even if I didn't know there was a void. You know, like I don't feel no void. I don't feel the need for closure. I don't need to know why I act like this or why I do that. And I've had times when my mother tell you, oh, you got that from your father. That's cool. Let's move on though. I'm trying to create my own life, create my own image. And now, like, I just had a son. So for me, like, everything that I missed out with on, like, not having a father, I can give it to my son myself and not have to feel any kind of void. Maybe that's my way of filling the void. My son now, you know, I can give him everything that I missed out on. And so maybe that was the reason why my father wasn't there, so I could be a better father.
So I'm just going to ask a question. Just ask a question. If you're there for your son now, you and your child's mom goes through trials and tribulation and turmoil, and she don't allow you to see your son anymore. You can't see him. You can't go up to school. Will you fight to try, right now, would you ever fight to try to get your son to get to know you? And if he rejected you, how would you feel? I
would be hurt. But at the same time, you cannot force anybody.
I'm not saying force. How would you feel?
I would be hurt.
There you go.
But I said that. I said he reached out. I mean, I don't have no. I didn't say I don't want to talk to you. If you reach out and I say, okay, cool, we here, we cool. I don't know what else to do from there. You want me to call you back and say, hey, what happened to you the other day? Like,
no, but man, this the thing, y'all gotta understand. It's traits in your father life that you might not know about. Like when you go to a doctor, when you get our age, your doctor asks you about your family tree. So when he asks about your father, like you get an illness, not saying this, it's speaking in general, you might get an illness. Like I got high blood pressure. He asked me, who's in my family that had high blood pressure? It's my mother. It runs in her family. You understand what I'm saying? So that's some things you need to know. Y'all might not feel like, because y'all grown, y'all don't have to reach out to him, but it's some things you need to know from your father in your life to help you be successful. You know what I'm saying? Falls next when you come to your kids. Like if something happens, say, the doctor said, well, so your son had this, he get this little bump on his leg. It may have been something that was in your father's family. So if you're not talking to your father the way you should, how you gonna know that?
You know what? Just by listening to y'all, it almost sounds like y'all trying to.
I think.
Nah, I'm just saying. I just think that y'all men and y'all should.
Let me say this. I don't think y'all are actually listening to what we're saying. And I understand because all y'all are good men, all y'all are good fathers, and I think y'all need to see it from our perspective. Like I said, I don't have an issue with my father. I know my father. My father was there, so I know the traits. I know when I grab my ear like this, I know I got this from my father. Certain things that I do, I get from my father. So it's not that I don't know him, but my whole point was I'm not going to force someone to have a relationship with me if they do not want one.
I don't think that we misunderstand what you're saying. I think what we're not seeing eye to eye on is the fact that I think your stance in your generation is I shouldn't have to reach for my father. He should be reaching for me because he's the father. The reality is a relationship is a relationship regardless of who it's with. And relationships don't work because of what? Communication. He may not have been listen to me. He may not have been able to be there. Listen to me. You're not listening. The reason that he may not have been able to be there is because of communication issues. So if you're waiting for him to reach to establish a working relationship and the reason he wasn't there was because of communication issues, if you're a better communicator, why not reach out?
I really can't touch subject. I can't really talk about the subject because I grew up in the household with my mother and my father. You feel me? And I mean, it's kind of a blessing and it's kind of a curse too because you be familiar. You familiar with your parents, and I became familiar with my parents at one point in time, and I had to reach out to other people in the church like Miles and Minister Rock. They taught me some other things that got me to another level. You feel me? So I can't conversate about that aspect. About that that about a father leaving his son, because if I have a chance and the opportunity to have a kid, I would never leave my son, no matter what, no matter how hard it get, no matter what the lady do, what she gonna do. If she wanna cut me off, I'm gonna try to see my son no matter what, because that's my seed, or my daughter, no matter what. That's how I look at it.
Let me say this real quick, because we don't have that much time. I love all of y'all dudes. Y'all know that. I mean, from first meeting, all of that, I have my son, I have my nephew, you know, and I look at y'all as my family, and I've always spoken to y'all life. What I would say as young men, don't be stubborn and set in your ways, because what I'm saying is you could create a curse because you didn't know your father. Your kids is gonna wanna know who their grandfather was. So what I'm saying is this: if you reach out and they don't do it, you have done, and you have freed yourself from that weight. Because it's one thing, like, this is my son right here, not flesh and blood. But when I first met him, he called me dad, and I've been a father ever since. My father was there, but he wasn't there. I created a curse because of the hatred that I created for him. You understand what I'm saying? And I would treat my father like a dude on the street. In my mother's house, I cursed him and was ready to deal with it. And when I started growing as a man of God, I realized that was a curse that I passed on to my son because of the hatred that I had. So what I'm saying, as young men, please don't create that in yourself. I had to go back to my father. I didn't expect him to apologize to me. I had to go back to my father and apologize in order to free myself from that. And now we have a better relationship. It ain't like we came up together, but we have a relationship because I allowed it.
Unfortunately, we are out of time. I know that you want to hear more from this show, but unfortunately, we are out of time. We hope that you gained a lot of insight, and truly, I have this podcast listening to this generation, to the next generation. Truly, this has been a great show. We hope to see you again next week. Till then, bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Man Up. We pray you enjoyed the show. If you would like to get more information from Pastor Tony Smith and Victorious Ministries, log on to our website at www.pastortonysmith.com. I also encourage you to join us for any of our services. We have Triple Play Sunday, where service times are 8, 11, and 3:30, and we also have 2 midweek services on Wednesday, one at 12 noon and the other at 7:25 p.m. I pray once again that you enjoyed the show, and I pray that you will join us again next week for more Man Up. Until we meet again, God bless.
Victorious Ministries International's Unity Conference 2015 with host Pastor Tony Smith. Registration is going on now, and you will need to be a part of the 3 most impacting days of 2015. It will be a time of deliverance, of healing, of impartation, and of restoration. We are building the unbreakable July the 17th through the 19th, and the speakers and the artists that will be here this year will be mind-blowing. It will take place right here on the campus of Victorious Ministries. Register today. You can call 410-433-8066 for more information. 4617 York Road.